Alright boys and girls, and welcome back to another building video. In this one we're taking a look at this siege 4x4, and this is because it survived an absolute siege. Maybe you guys saw Etone's video, maybe you guys saw my video as well. This was the base that featured in that, and a lot of people have been asking for it. And this base survived an absolute monster of an online raid from a double Chinese Zerg that linked up for a quick boom on our base. This thing took like 48 MLRS and a shitload of rockets before they eventually foundation wiped it, leaving only our wide gaps. Not to mention, it's got a comfortable open core, and it's a nice starter to build its way up from. But let's jump onto the tour, because hopefully you guys want to know how to build this one. Alright, jumping into the tour of the base, and we're starting in front of a mini Satori disconnectable. Placing in the ramp obviously disconnects it, and throwing the frame back in reconnects our TC. Having disconnectables allows us to replace our main TC in base if we need to do so. Next we can head into our gatehouses, which are super basic. Nothing fancy going on here. Windows to peek in, windows to peek out. And you can see that we've placed our turrets above our bedrooms instead of confusing them inside the gatehouse, because most people expect turrets in the gatehouse now. So our single bedrooms come along with a breach peak that takes us outside into the compound, and one locker with a turret above. And then these are our double bedrooms for the couples in your team. Can share these lockers over here off to the side of compound, and there's no breach peak for them or turrets, sadly. Plenty of spaces for your furnaces, refineries, anything else you want to throw in compound. And from here you can see all the wide gapped and free-handed angles you'll see in the compound. Heading into shell, there's plenty of space for boxes, all those deployables that you're not sure where to put them, mixing tables, research, all that stuff, and your beds of course. Boys and girls, before we continue with the tour, we have a sponsor for today's video. Call of the Wild the Angler is a genre-defying, new open-world fishing game from the creators of the hit hunting game, The Hunter Call of the Wild. Explore the great outdoors by boat, off-road vehicle or on foot, and discover a living, breathing reserve on your own or in online co-op multiplayer for up to 12 players. Battle a variety of unique species in an authentic and engaging fishing experience, master various fishing techniques, and customize your character to become an expert angler. Call of the Wild the Angler releases August 31st on PC via Steam, the Epic Games Store, and the Microsoft Store. So put it on your wishlist now and keep the date in mind. Or if you're more into hunting, make sure to check out Expansive World's immersive open-world hunting game, The Hunter Call of the Wild. Links in the description for everything, guys. Cheers again for the sponsor, let's jump back into the tour. Coming back through to the tour, you can see we've got our lockers tucked away behind the door, and more furnace spam and box spam throughout the rest of the shell, and our single door leading into our 2x2 starter base. Plenty of bags for all your teammates and some space for some boxes. In this force wipe, I hear we're going to need less boxes, as they're going to fit a lot more in large boxes now. Heading up, the mobility chute will take us to our second floor open core, where there are a lot of boxes and plenty of spots for beds as well. 4 players will have their separated bedrooms, and then the remaining 6 guys, depending how deep you are, will be stuck with their beds in the middle of the open core, which is completely fine. Then you can see we've got our turrets behind the ramps over there, and we can also use those ramps as inner peaks if your open core has been breached. But those turrets will definitely be annoying as well, even if you're offline. Off to the side, some more separated loot rooms, a little bit safer over here, a little bit out of the way. And then we can head further up our mobility chute into shooting floor via the ladder hatch. In front of our ladder hatch, we've got a nice halfway peak on the window embrasure there. Looks straight at our gatehouse, which is very useful. Then you can see a mix of wide gaps and free-handed peaks. And just a really banging shooting floor for you guys to use. Lets you see into compound, lets you see far away. You guys know how the wide gaps work. Lots of great angles from this shooting floor, and of course there's space in shooting floor for turrets, beds. Got our breach peaks over here as well, with our roof peaks above that. Standard little module off to the side, and it's on every single corner. And we can see plenty of the roof from here, all 4 will cover it perfectly. Jumping up takes us towards our roof airlock that's also equipped with another roof peak up. And if you pick up that embrasure, you can also look inside the bedroom floor. I'll give you guys a tour of that in a second. If we head back through, same shooting floor all the way around, base is symmetrical by 4 when it comes to the shooting floor. Heading through this single door, double door airlock takes us into our defense floor, where we can find a spam of beds in the middle. If I can jump. There we go. Turrets obviously will defend this floor, that's why we leave it nice and open. And there's plenty of lockers and beds in this section to help you guys defend. Obviously you can see from the peek downs all the way inside the open core some nice angles on there to shoot any raiders that might be inside. Heading back through our airlocks, back out into the shooting floor, and up onto roof. I'll give you guys a little look at that. In total I've got 4 turrets covering the roof with some drop boxes above the airlock you can see there. And off to the side of each of the airlocks we have some nice little roof peaks we can use to head glitch down into compound or to look off far towards outside of the base. These little roof ramps will help us get a tighter angle and a higher angle as well. You can see we've got space for SAM sites in the middle there. They're easy to access, turn them on and off from heli mode to MLRS. And we've got 4 separate towers that allow you to pinpoint exactly where you want to peek. They're also accompanied with a vending machine. Moving on to the costs of the base, the total build cost for the base is on screen currently. Includes everything you just saw in the tour. Second up is the box amounts. This is how many boxes of each material you'll need to build the base. Lets you visualize it easier. Lastly is the total upkeep, and that is spread between 5 TCs, 1 being your main TC and 4 externals, upkeep and wide gaps. Now we can go ahead and jump onto the base build. Kicking it off with a 2x2 footprint with a single door entrance and no triangle airlock. Placing our TC on the back left side so we can get that half height triangle shelf in. Sealing off the rest of the 2x2, easy peasy. And on wipe day you'll need about 5k stone and a little bit of metal for your door. And that'll get your starter base down easy peasy. Coming outside to get our shelf, and that's the starter base completed. Minus some doors and bags and all that stuff. Once you're ready to continue, let's come outside and turn this 2x2 into a 4x4. To ensure that we know for a fact we have enough space to build the whole base. Once all those are down, you should be able to tell if you've got enough room to wide gap from here. Next we can begin our airlocks, and we're going to place them in line with the airlock to our front door. Then we can start wrapping around in walls, not forgetting our bedroom section on the opposite ends as well. Double door into them and a window to look out. And then we can seal off our bedrooms with the 3 triangles and some walls going around. Once I drop down, there we go. Yeah, so we'll seal those in. And we'll throw a triangle roof on this section here. And the same on the opposite end. Over to the other 2 sides of the base, we have our airlocks / mobility chutes. But before we do that, slap some frames inside your shell. And try and get garage doors down in here as quickly as possible, before you start blocking all the placement with deployables. Then from there you're safe to slap a roof on this entire section. And then we can go and work on the airlocks. My bad. Alright, airlocks. 2 windows, a door and a jump up. With some garage door spam in the middle. Just like that. And the same over here. Windows again. And our doors in the middle. With the jump up off to the side. And then you can place in your floors. And the floors on that side as well, my bad. Alright, moving on to the second floor, we have our open core in this section. We're going to leave out the honeycombing so we can efficiently seal this off with as few mats as possible. So we'll leave out the honeycombing for just now. I'll just place in the walls that I place. And then in these sides we're going to need some doors. We'll just place in the other single door above so we don't forget. Sometimes it's easy to build the mobility chute the wrong way around. So make sure our single doors are lining up, and then we'll raise everything up by 2. Because the open core is going to require 2 floors of storage. So we're putting our door in front of our single door and our window off to the side. Then half walls in front of our loot rooms. Finally separating up all the floors above starter with some half walls. And we can tuck some ramps in there, one facing this way and one facing that way. Just allows us for easy access of boxes. And from there, a couple of frames in between to separate off our separated bedrooms. And then we can have a look at the side with the loot rooms. As for the loot rooms, we're going to place this couple of frames in here with floors on top. That's how big the loot rooms are going to get. 1.5 tall. Then we can seal up this section over here. We've got an external loot room off to the side here, remember. And again, our double door lines up with our single door, keep that in mind. And then you can build your loot room off to the side. You could make this a window loot room if you want and store your most valuable things in here. Often that's what I end up doing, but if you just want the comfort of the double doors, go for that. And then we can add a floor just to seal up this whole section so we don't have to worry about it. Get your frames in before your ramps, that's for stability. Add a half wall to separate them both. And then from there we can start working on the loot rooms now. We'll go ahead and place in a temporary square that's going to allow us to place a triangle around the back. And we can break all that. Now we've got our triangle shelf in the front there. And break it on this side as well. And I'll show you guys the box placement for one loot room. And then you guys can do the rest of the loot rooms. But don't worry, I'll be doing this all tomorrow on Force Wipe. On Restoria EU Long, hopefully, if everything goes to plan, I'll be doing this box placement live on a real server too. So I'm with you guys, don't worry. Starting in the middle and then 2 boxes at either side. Placing our last one from outside so we don't get trapped in. Same again, one in the middle pressed up against the wall. And one at either side. Only row you should struggle with is the next row because we're going to need to stand on something, a boost from your teammate or a deployable or something. So you can get those last 2 boxes in. But I'm on a build server, so I'm going to fly. But you won't be doing that, most likely, on whatever server you play on Force. And yeah, that's the deployable placement for the base. I don't feel like anything else needs to be explained, everything else is pretty obvious. And of course you're repeating that on the opposite side. Alright, that's our open core, looking pretty cool. We're going to need a way up here though, so let's finish the mobility chute off. Get some doors in there, and we'll carry through this half wall here for our jump up. That's getting broken though, don't worry, we don't keep that. Adding in some floors, and raising up. Don't forget, do a half height then a window. That's an easy thing to forget. I often forget that, so... It's not a big deal if you do forget it, but it's good to have, so try to remember it. And then of course you got your ladder hatch frame at the top there. And we'll get that built on this side as well. Carrying our half wall through so we can get our jump up down. And our ladder hatch frame in the middle. Alright, mobility chute's done, open core is done. Left out some honeycombing, but that's not too important right now. Currently the base is sealed off, assuming you've got doors. So we're safe to do some external work now. We're going to wide gap with the 2 square method, that means we're coming out with 2 squares and building back with triangles. Then we're going to build our gatehouse. From our gatehouse we're going to build our external TC. Just copying the build out that I do. Easy peasy. And you'll upgrade all of this stuff to metal. And then we can work our way over to our external TC. Double half wall, very important for stability, make sure you remember that. Then you can throw your TC down, slap a lock on, and decide if you want to do garage doors, windows, or just single doors, it's completely up to you. And build back the same as we did with the foundations. And I'll quickly demonstrate again. Stability drops it, and it disconnects. I had some intro on for that because I'm lazy. Once again, I won't have that tomorrow on Force Wipe, so I'm enjoying it while I can on the build server just now. And that's our 4 externals. Now, they're not all the same. Some of them are bedrooms, some of them are gatehouses. So I'll show you the difference in a minute. We'll dust off the honeycombing now real quick. 3 triangles on the back, and filling in our squares, we don't use them. To make sure our open core is 2 walls. Before we can continue any further, we need to do our freehand, so let's do the freehand method. Just copy it as I'm doing with your crosshair right in the middle of that twig. In between the 2 low walls there, make sure you got your crosshair on in game. Slot it in between there in that little triangle space. Make sure you remain crouched, do not touch your mouse after you've lined it up of course. whip out the square, and you're going to tap S so lightly. I'll show you guys again, lining up the process. Get it in there. I'll use the hammer this time so you guys see what I do. So when you right click, obviously you can move your mouse. Don't move it afterwards though, you want to keep this alignment perfect. Then whip out the square. Tap S a little bit, you'll see you jiggle back slightly, that's enough. And then we'll build back with the square and 2 triangles. And if you did it right, that should be above 70%. So we did it right, terrific. If that was a little bit fast or a little bit difficult, we're going to do it 3 more times, so don't worry. Here's me testing that the height difference is not annoying and I can smoothly run over it. And if the height difference is good to go, then you're fine to seal it up. Connect it with these frames and those foundations will not decay. As I said though, we're doing this 3 more times, so if you feel like that was too fast or too complicated, you're going to see it 3 more times, so don't worry. Throwing our crosshair in the middle, and then we're not touching our mouse anymore except to demolish, ensuring that we have not knocked the placement, and then we're jiggling back ever so slightly, like we did there. Upgrading, placing in our frames, double checking the stability, they're good to go, upgrade, and move on to the next one. You really want to be on some flat ground to build this base. I'm talking ice lakes or washed up kind of desert places where it's low water. Freehanding is not to be done on a hill or else it's going to go wrong. Same again though, I went too far back that time, so I jiggled forward ever so slightly and it lined up. If it didn't though, that's okay, you guys can just do it again. Practice makes perfect. Definitely try that out in a build server first, because freehanding's kind of tough. If you are struggling with the freehanding, jump in the Discord and I can try and give you just a one-on-one session. Help you guys get through it, because it's definitely a complicated building technique to learn. But once you got it down, once you got it mastered, then you're fine. You'll never get it wrong again. Frames are good to go, foundations are good to go, and that's 4 out of 4 now, so boom. Looking nice and symmetrical all the way around the base. Next, we're going to work on our defense floor at the top here. We're walling in this section with half walls, that's where our turrets go, so don't forget about that. And we're metaling that up because it leads into our open core. Then we can seal in our defense floor, window on top, and then a half wall on top to help us make our peek up and also roof exit. Same again, window on the right, half wall on the left. Walls in between floors and frames. Remember, it's just frames in this floor, keeping it nice and open. Letting the turrets do their job. Then we can work on some airlocks on the opposite sides that we've not attended to yet. So we get our windows in. Single door to exit out to shooting floor. Single door to enter. And windows to look out. And the same over here. And then just throw a roof on top. And we'll quickly airlock off this section to make it a little bit safer. Get all our frames down inside shooting floor over here. And then you can finish off the airlock section. Oh, no, never mind, I'm tripping. Okay, moving back into the compound, we'll start at the gatehouses, and gatehouses will be in front of the front doors. So there's only 2 entrances to the main base, and our gatehouses go in front of them. Same over here. Windows to look out, windows to look in. And we'll get our frames for our doors. Okay, so the other 2 are bedrooms, and you see we've got a frame. We're just going to patch that up with a shot front. Make sure you leave 2 triangles for your lockers. And your beds will obviously go in the middle. When you're placing your shot front, the little like sticky out bit, have that outside. You don't want that to block any deployable placement on the inside. And yeah, boom. That's one of those done. A rocket to disconnect. Assuming you didn't do single doors like me. And then you can make another one on this side as well. Again, sticky out thing outside of the base. Boom, that's those done. Now, coming off of the freehands, we also have our single bedrooms that come equipped with the breach peak. So we'll make sure those are connected by adding those frames, then leading a frame over. And then we can build our little breach peak, and it's super basic. Again, we're building it 4 times, so if this is a little bit fast, don't worry, you're going to see it a few more times. Make sure you place in that roof ramp before you seal it up, because you can't place it from any other angle. Then add in your half walls in your floor, so your turret has got a nice spot to sit. You can get some embrasures in there, and you've got a nice breach peak outside of your compound. Alright, we'll go ahead and build that 3 more times. So again, we're doing the same thing. I'll point out the things that are easy to forget. Those 2 frames, they're important for connecting it back to the base. So is that one there for leading it across. Don't forget your frame, that's kind of hard to get in once you've got the roof down. Don't forget to place in that roof as well. And then just seal up and you've got your spot for your turret again. Another thing I'd recommend is lock your lockers. The ones that you place inside there, if you've placed them kind of bad, they'll be accessible from the breach peak. So just make sure you put a code lock on them. And obviously don't keep anything too amazing out there, because they can get speared out. They won't get looted, but could get despawned. That's 3 out of 4 now we're building, nice and fast. And we'll get the last one out now. The cool thing about doing all these extra things in the compound is you have all the respawns. And there's actually less high walls now to build the compound. And it's also a symmetrical gap between each section. So each gatehouse has a 2-wall gap between each single bedroom. And it's the exact same placement all the way around. So you can make a nice neat compound that looks good from the outside. And is easy to replace in case of a raid defense. So, talking about the compound, we're going to clip it into the bedroom first. Because we don't want it to go too far in there. The gatehouse we can be a little bit more lenient on. So as you can see, we make a nice jagged, kind of like out the way then back in the way. Making sure we don't clip too far into the breach peak because we don't want the spikes to come through there. That would make the breach peak very difficult to use. So barely inside on that side, and then much more lenient on the gatehouse. And you're just going to follow that all the way around. Same placement every time, so I've just done a little cut there. Barricade placement, you'll need some twig build-outs on the gatehouses. And for the single beds, simply just 1 barricade on top. And then you follow that all the way around. I'd recommend throwing down some electrical branches and stuff to block the placement of any twig. Just so you know those furnaces are safe. Before you have turrets, of course. Alright, compound is finished. Let's get back through to doing some wide gap works. This is symmetrical by 4, so I have symmetry on right now. We're just going to raise that up. Then for our towers, we'll add in 1 set of frames, then windows. This side we're doing half walls, then frames, then walls. And I'll show you again on this side. Symmetrical by 4, so we're just doing the same thing all the way around. And boom, now we can get our floors in for shooting floor, and we're just setting our triangles down as I do. Just like that. And boom, now that all the floors are down, we can get our windows down for shooting floor 2. Just giving you a quick look around now. In the middle we do a window with a half out floor so we can peek down. Then all the way around standard windows. Now that those windows are done, we can work on the towers that allow us to peek up. Starting out with some windows looking far away. All the way around. Then we'll need some floors to sit on for our breach peak. Careful you don't fall through like I did. Same thing all the way around. And then we can work on our roof exits with some 2 single doors, window in the middle and half walls to match the height. Get some floors in all the way around, get those half walls down. Space for your turret. A door frame for your double door. Space for boxes, space for turret. Boxes on the left, turret on the right. And same thing over here. Okay, that's our 2 roof exits complete. Now we can move on to finishing off these towers as I was saying before. Single door and a window, single door on the right, window on the left, and you'll follow that pattern all the way around for all 4 of them. Okay, now we can add in the floors that go around our shooting floor, and we're just going to match what's below with our triangles and our squares. I'm not sure why I'm missing so many windows, that's my bad. And boom, that's the floors down. On the opposite sides of our roof exit, we're going to build a little turret pod with a bedroom. And that's going to leave space for a locker and 1 bed. And of course, the turret off to the right. Next, we can work on our towers that house our vending machines and our extra set of windows that we can use to focus players. Just to keep it nice and symmetrical, do your single door above your window. Then you can place in these extra windows in between everything. 8 of those in total. And they'll all be accompanied by a triangle roof ramp that will allow you to peek down. Careful with the triangle roof ramp, we're placing that off main base. You can see here it's giving you 2 options. We want to select the one that I choose on the left there. That roof ramp is coming off of main base, to be clear. And it's on all sides. Don't worry about placing this roof, it does not block the turret placement. There's still plenty of room in there for that triangle to get your turret in like that. Then you can raise your windmills up, and each one comes from that half height there, where the turret's sitting, and then you can break your floors. And once you've done that completes the base design. Big thanks to those of you guys who made it to the end of the video. If you do end up building it, I hope you have an awesome time in it. If you guys did enjoy this video, then please feel free to leave me a like and drop me a comment down below. Remember to check out Call the Wild, the Angler, and I will see you boys and girls in the next video. See you in a bit.